Hey guys, Jen checking in. This is Recipe Rummy. Several of you have requested that I make a video showing gameplay of each game, and I said absolutely yes. And I wanted to start with Recipe Rummy, especially with the holidays coming up, and a lot of you with the challenge of sugar. Well, what does that have to do with a card game? Ha ha ha, let me show you. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the box. Looks like a cookbook, right? So cute with the pages. It's a double deck, 108 cards, 106 playable. 2 are information cards. 1 is for general information of how to use the cards, the designations for the food groups, as well as the micronutrients. And then another card that's about the tastes in Ayurveda, as well as food combining. And we'll put those aside. We'll put the box aside as you'll see it. Got the information on the side there as well. And then on the back, also information, a little bit of information about the game. So let's get to it. We have vegetables and fruit and grains and nuts and seeds. If you'll notice here, let me separate this here. Okay, so considered under the protein. Okay, so we've got the vegetables with the carbs that are dark green and a light green, and then the greens are yellow. Protein foods, nuts and seeds, legumes, and then animal foods. Okay, we get into oils, spices, and then there are also wild cards, 1 for each from each food group. Okay. So we're going to put those aside. We're not going to use those right now. For right now, the big question is well, what are these cards used for? And what are the types of games that can be played with them? Actually, I'm going to leave them fanned out because it'll require lots of shuffling to get these mixed really well. So we're going to cheat and just pull some cards out as we play. Okay, first of all, instructions. Instructions. Each game comes with the instructions and this QR code, which is important for later because there's actually a free ebook that goes with this for meal planning. Yay, and making recipes. But let's get started with the first game. Okay, so the first one is super simple. You've got a little one that you're introducing to healthy foods, table foods. They're old enough, obviously, to play with the games. And the reason I'm using cards is because I don't know how to do this on the computer yet. So here we go. Okay, so we'll take a couple of cards out and okay, we're going to do some matching. Now, the matching could be by food group. Okay, so we've got a bean and a bean, and we could put that down. Or it could be, let's see, by color, red and red. Okay, so it's an introduction for children to get familiar with the food groups and even with their colors. Lots of different ways that we can play with this. Okay, so that's the first one. The next game is, so that's more of an activity. Matching game, Go Manifest, is just like Go Fish. Okay, so how about we pull out some, let's see what we have going here. Putting down 1 pair at a time, because if your hand is full of vegetables, you could be like, you know, okay, I'm almost out. No. So it's 1 pair at a time, so that this way it gives everybody a chance to get familiar with the cards. Vegetable and vegetable. Great. Do you have an oil? No. Oops, I'm not set up. Do you have an oil? No, I don't. Go Manifest. Okay. You see, so, and then you're putting down your pairs. You could put your pairs down by, if you want to follow the macronutrients, the micronutrients. Oh yeah, that's the other information that's in this card as well that I wanted to show you. I got so excited about gameplay, but the idea is that these are also informational cards. So just like a double strand DNA, double helix DNA, carbs, proteins, and fats. What are the percentage of carbohydrates, proteins, or fats that end up making you into you? You are what you eat, right? Then we've got micronutrients. Oh, this is a perfect one. Okay, so let's look at this card here. If it is listed, that means that per serving there is 1 to 40% of your daily value of that vitamin or mineral. If it's underlined, that means 40 to 95% of riboflavin that you'll find for your daily value is in one serving. Wow, that's a lot. And then we have the highlighted and underlined, so niacin, B6, B12, that's 95% or above for your daily value. That's a lot. If we look at that, wow, the phosphorus stands out, selenium, zinc, potassium, okay? A lot of information on these cards. And then down on the bottom right corner, this is for students of Ayurveda. Depending on your constitution, your body type, this will tell you the groups that favor it. So this is Vata. I'm trying to figure out for somebody that doesn't know any Ayurveda. We'll get to that later. The idea is if you're not following, don't pay attention to it. It doesn't matter. If you are following, hey, doshas are listed on here too. Woo woo. Okay, so that's information there. Okay, so there are many different ways that you could say, do you have an animal food with selenium? Well, this one does. Why, yes, I do. Okay, so then you put your pair down. Okay, so that is the matching game and go manifest. Several different ways that can be played. Then we come to recipe sequences. So recipe rummy sequences, good for kids and adults. And I know that there are children that are also chefs out there, amazing little cooks. You count yourself as a chef. I'm just saying that, kids that are new to this, they can play, right? And if you are a young person chef, well, then you put that chef's hat on and tell me your recipes. I would love to hear what you've got brewing up in your kitchen. I've watched some of you on the YouTube there. Amazing little inspirations. I want to cook with you guys. Just so much fun, so much cleverness in your recipes. Okay, so we're just going to make something up right here and right now. I'm just going to take some of these cards out. And we're going to play Recipe Rummy as far as with the sequences. So with your cards of 3 or 4 cards in a sequence. Ooh, excuse me, I'm sorry, that was a little too high there. With 3 or 4 cards in your sequence, what kind of recipe could you create, would you create, and how would you create it? So it's hard for us that are in Ayurveda to know that anything with fruit, that already gets put aside, because eat fruit alone or leave it alone. And I don't see any greens here. I've got some vegetables. Now, the good thing is that we can pull and discard as well. But right now, I am already seeing, ooh. Oh, that might be interesting. I really would like to wait for a spice, though. But since we are here for time... Okay, what do you guys think about this? Hopefully you're looking. We've got raisins, azuki beans, chicken, which is light meat, cucumber, eggplant, kale, Brussels sprouts, yummy, yummy, flax seeds, and garbanzo beans. So what I'm thinking is to first pan fry these Brussels sprouts. Cut them in half, maybe in quarters. Fry them up a little bit because they're going to take a little bit longer than the kale. Oh, I might even add the garbanzo beans, the chickpeas, into the frying pan. Start to let them cook together. Add a little water at first to steam them. Then add a little oil with seasoning to crisp them up some. Crushing with flaxseed. Adding... Oh, I don't know if I'd want to do flaxseed. Maybe, no, because it might make it too thick and sticky, right? So probably sunflower seeds. Okay, so I'm going to take the kale. Woo! I can still save myself here. I'm going to take the kale, and then I will add the kale to this, to a lovely kale, Brussels sprout, garbanzo bean, sunflower seed. I'm going to add it totally, and some olive oil. And I'm going to make this as a side. So that is going to be one of my recipes. Now let's say, oh, now it's my turn again. I'm not really sure, but I really feel like I want to dump the, well, maybe the chicken. Okay, so I don't want cherries, so I'm going to put chicken down, but I'm going to take another card. I got strawberries instead. Trying to stay away from the fruit. It's a little hard to cook with. But that's according to Ayurveda. According to holistic nutrition, I'm thinking about some fantastic glazes and sauces. Once again, strawberries are great. See, Vata Pitta Kapha. That means they're good for everybody. They're great for people with diabetes. It's a berry, right? So in that sense, we're going to get creative. Okay, but that is recipe rummy sequencing. And as you go around, if you put down and you're like, I'm going to make flax seeds with eggplant and strawberries and put it in a bowl, the whole rest of the table gets to vote and say, no, that is not a good recipe. Put that back in your hand and keep working on it. So everybody's a food critic and a chef, okay? So now let's see. The next game we have